Hi there. Welcome to Live with the Paper Pixie, episode 278, take 2. Hopefully my mic is working now. I'm going to wait for a few of you folks to roll on in. Story of my life these days, but we are live again. I'm in a different spot. I hope you all can find me. Tonight we're going to be doing two three-dimensional projects that are featuring the new In colors. I'm going to use two of them tonight, Moody Mauve and Boho Blue. I would love to hear how you pronounce the word mauve, because I understand you pronounce it differently depending on where you are in the world. So I'm going to laugh at myself for a moment, because it wasn't that my mic was broken. I had inadvertently tapped the mute button. And I forgot that the mute button is like a touch sensitive one. Anyways. Each of these moments is a learning moment, so I won't do it again, right? But I seem to always have the mic issues, so thank you. I see you guys all rolling in again. Anyways, let's do this again. So thanks for joining me tonight. Hello to those of you who are my replay warriors. If you are new to Live with the Paper Pixie, let us know in the chat. My amazing community will welcome you. And we're going to do things tonight. I've got a couple of housekeeping items and announcements to share with you. Then we're going to do the two paper crafting projects tonight. And then if you have a question, actually, Brian, are you ready for your cameo? He was trying so hard to help me. My husband, Brian, is looking through the comments and questions tonight. If you do have a question, be sure to put a Q before your question. That will make it into my queue when I do tonight's Q&A, which will be after the paper crafting tutorials tonight. That way I can focus on the projects, and then I will stay on until I answer all of your questions. Thank you again for sticking with me for the reschedule. I just couldn't pull it together to go live last night, so I moved it to tonight. But anyways, I'm excited about tonight's projects. I do have some show and tell from the kiddos, but let's see what's next on the screen. When you shop with me, you earn Pixie Perks on orders of $25 or more. The sound is right, isn't it? Okay, good. They're saying I'm pronouncing mauve correctly, so you can hear me. When you shop with me, you earn Pixie Perks on $25 or more. I want to make sure that you use the host code on your orders, and the easiest way to do that is to use my magic shopping link, thepaperpixie.com/shop. That will auto-magically add my current host code to your order. Now, if your order is going to be a big order of $150 or more, you don't want to add the host code because you'll earn Stampin' Rewards yourself, but you will also earn Pixie Perks as well. So we also have the Last Chance products, which are deeply discounted products up to 60% off. These are the retiring products from the 2022 to 2023 annual catalog and the January to April 2023 mini catalog. Still lots of deals there as well. So make sure you check that out. You can see that at thepaperpixie.com/last chance. All right, show and tell tonight. Nolan picked two things to show you. Nolan is our first grader. This was from last week, my little math nerd, which I was so proud, but he's doomed anyways because both of his parents are accountants. But he decided to do math, starting with 4 plus 4, then 8 plus 8, and so on. And he went all the way up to 8,192 plus 8,192. So he was pretty proud of himself there. I was trying to help him a little bit, and he'd be like, "No, Mommy, I'm thinking." So that was fun. But that's what I meant to show you last week. I just couldn't find it. And then I don't know, he's got one of those craft subscriptions, and he decided to make his own concoction with that. He was trying to tell me that the pink and white straws are walls. I'm not sure what this is, and this is to protect the wall. So that's his other show and tell he wanted to show you. And then I just got this in the mail today. I thought I'd share it with you tonight because I love this photo of my dad. This is just the commemorative plaque that the plain dealer in Cleveland gave to me. That's his obituary, but he just had the best smile, so wanted to share that with you. All right, let's talk a little bit about, well, first, I have an 8-foot card table. in the middle of our kitchen. I'm working on getting catalogs ready to send out. This is all I'm allowed to show you is the front. And yes, I spiral bound my catalogs because it makes a total difference. What's better than a new catalog? A spiral bound new catalog. So I highly recommend that when you get your catalog, you take it to Staples or FedEx office and ship center. Pay, I don't know, it's like $8 to $10 maybe to get it spiral bound, but it makes it really easy to flip through the catalog. Catalogs are going out to customers of mine who have placed an order of $25 or more in the last 6 months and who also requested a catalog. So if you haven't yet requested your catalog, but you've placed an order with me of $25 or more, be sure to check your email because I did send a couple of emails, I think it was last week, reminding you to request your catalog. So that's the annual catalog. And since we do have a new catalog, I have my typical offerings. We've got Paper Pixie product shares. I just opened these up for sign up on Tuesday. So if you were on my product share mailing list, you got an email about it, but I'm also sort of announcing it here on my live stream as well. Some of you may not be on my mailing list for product shares, but I've got 2 that I'm offering. Well, 3 technically. A paper share, which is $65 plus $8.50 in shipping. It has 170 sheets of 6x6 paper. There's actually 19 papers included. The ribbon share is approximately 32.5 yards of ribbon. It's 12 different ribbons. A couple of those 12 are actually combo packs, so you're technically getting more than 12 ribbons. That's $35 plus $4 in shipping, or you can do both the paper and ribbon together. That's everything included above, plus a free gift choice, an $8 value. And I added something fun this go around. I also included an option for me to surprise you with a gift if you'd like to be surprised. So the sign up deadline is on April 30th. And I'll send out invoices on or after April 25th. I can only send invoices up to a week before I order the product. Payment due by May 1st, and on May 2nd, I will place 1 order only for all the filled and paid shares. Okay, so that's the scoop there. It's going to be a little bit of crazy timing because my dad's memorial service is right around the time invoices are due, etc. So, but I will be, responsive to email as I'm able to. I'm also offering an in-color club again this round. I offer this each year with the 5 new in-colors. We've got Copper Clay, Wild Wheat, Boho Blue, Moody Mauve, and Pebbled Path. And you get a whole bunch of products each month. It's $65 plus $8.50 in shipping per month for 5 months. And included in each month is a surprise free gift as well, $7 or more in value. I will give you a little hint that a couple of the months, the surprise gift is additional in-color products that you may not see listed here. Okay, so don't worry. By the end of In-Color Club, you will have all of the in-color products that are available, plus a couple of extra fun free surprise gifts. So that's the same thing. Sign up deadline April 30th. I meant to tell you the links for this. I will add them to the description after the stream, thepaperpixie.com/shares. and thepaperpixie.com/incolorclub, okay? And then finally, my Stampin' Blends labels have been updated. We've got 72 different colors included on here. You can purchase this digital download for $8 at thepaperpixie.com/blends. Now, if you've already purchased them, your one-time purchase offers you free updates for as long as Stampin' Blends are a current product. I did send that email on Monday morning to those who have already purchased the Stampin' Blends labels for me since going all the way back to 2021, and a link to your personalized download link. If for some reason you didn't see that email, be sure to check your spam folder. Sometimes my emails end up in the spam or promotions folder. And if you still don't find it there, but you have purchased blends, feel free to reach out to me at support@thepaperpixie.com. All right. Let's jump into tonight's projects. I'm going to show you again here. So we've got this one is a Poodles inspired project. I love this with the Designer Series paper on the side, and it uses a minimal amount of Designer Series paper. What you're seeing here is the 2023 to 2025 in color Designer Series paper pack. So we've got Boho Blue here and Moody Mauve, and then this cute little Boho Blue has the sentiment on the inside, and that comes from the Around the Bend bundle, which is available as a bundle through May 1st. And then the products in the bundle are both going to be in the annual catalog, but not at the bundled price. So if you love this bundle, grab it now before the 10% discount goes away, okay? So this one, I just have a Velcro closure, but it's really easy to put together. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to maximize your score lines and cuts with a full sheet of 8.5 by 11. I do have measurement notes. Give me until tomorrow for the project sheets. I am caught up with the exception of the episode just before my dad passed away. I haven't gotten to those project sheets yet, but the rest of the project sheets are in video descriptions, and I'll get these posted before the end of the day tomorrow, Friday, okay? We're gonna start with, let's start with the little mini box. Now again, I don't have treats to put in here, but the measurements of this one, this is 2 inches wide by 1.5 inches deep by 1 inch tall. So I think you could probably get some Hershey's Kisses in there, definitely some Hershey's Nuggets. Might be a cute way to fold up a little bit of cash to give as a tip. I don't know, I love this little box. It's got reinforced sides. I'll show you how that goes together. So let's do that one first, but I'm gonna do this one in Moody Mauve, and we'll do the other one in Boho Blue. We'll do opposites here. All right, so this is the 6x6 designer series paper for the 2023 to 2025 in colors, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and grab, let's do the polka dots. I love this pattern as well. This is such a great combination of patterns. You got the diagonal stripes and the polka dots, the adorable hearts, and these sort of striped lines as well. So really cool patterns in this DSP. I love it. This will be available for purchase starting May 2nd, or you can add it to a starter kit now. It's one of the perks of being a demonstrator. We get to pre-order, and you can add products like this to your starter kit. All right, so we're gonna start with just a full sheet of 6x6. And then I'm going to go ahead and score first. Now, this pattern is not directional, but if it were, the first set of score lines we're gonna do here, you'd wanna make sure that your pattern was going in a vertical direction. So let me make sure my notes are close by. I'm gonna go ahead with, if this were a directional pattern with it in vertical, I'm gonna score at 1 inches and 2 inches from each side. So 1, 2, then rotate at 180, and we're gonna do 1 and 2 again. Now I'm gonna turn it a quarter of a turn, and we're gonna score this at 1 inch and 2.5 inches from each side, okay? So 1, 2.5, rotate at 180, 1 and 2.5 again. So you may be able to see those score lines there. I do have a rough and dirty template that I did right before going live, but I've been fighting with my laser printer. As you can see, I've got these crazy lines. Good grief. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold and burnish on all the score lines. All right, so now again, if your paper was directional, with the two, like the 1 and 2 inch score line on the right and the left, you will want to look at your pattern and decide which one was going to be your top. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain that. Basically, I would just try to fold it this way. This is kind of how that box is going to go together. And you just want to make sure your pattern is going in the right direction on the top. Otherwise, you might want to flip it this way if that direction has a better look. So just before you start cutting, you just want to make sure which way you want to line up to do the cutting here. So let me grab my paper snips, and I'm going to come in. I'm actually going to turn this around. So if this is going to be the lid here, I'm going to turn it towards me, and I'm going to come in to the second vertical score line, and I'm going to cut up to the second horizontal score line. Now, if you really wanted to conserve paper here, you could score a little bit differently so you don't get this grid of score lines before you cut this one, but I'm not worried about that tonight. So I basically am cutting out the 4 sections here in the corner. So if I flip it this way, like so, okay? I'm going to repeat the same thing on the opposite side, cutting away those 4 sections. Like that. So technically, this is going to start being our lid here, okay? Now I'm going to turn it to the side. I'm going to cut up each of the vertical score lines, stopping at the second horizontal score line. And then I like to fold this bigger section out of the way because we're going to remove this outside square. Like that, okay? Then I'm just going to come in and miter cut. This just makes these tabs go into the box a lot easier. No edges in our way. And then I'm going to also miter cut this outside section here. Like so, okay? We're going to repeat that same thing on the opposite side, again cutting up the vertical score lines, stopping at the second horizontal. Like so. Then again, I'm going to fold the big section out of the way and remove that 1-inch section on the outside there. These are the tabs that will fold into the box. Okay, so come in and miter cut the tabs. And then miter cut this outside section here. All right, let's get these pieces out of the way. So now we look like the template, although as usual, I ran out of time. So we're going to do 2 more things to this before we start to put it together. Actually 3, because it's easier to glue the sentiment on the inside before the box gets put together. So these are 2 retired products, but this is the detailed trio punch. Any type of corner rounder will do. And then I just had to have a little 1/2-inch circle punch here. The 1/2-inch circle punch, I'm going to put a little finger notch in this section down here. That's just so that the recipient can get their thumbnail in there and open the box, no problem, okay? So I usually come in about 1/3 of the way, but I'm centering it left to right between the score lines. So just a little finger notch there. And then I'm going to round the corners here. That just gives it a nicer finish and also helps the tab to tuck into the box. Like so. Now those things will be added to the template once I finish the project sheet for you. All right, now let's do a little bit of stamping. I'm going to show you the other products we're using tonight. I talked about the Around the Bend bundle. We're using the sentiment that I love. Just wanted to say thanks. These are the dies that go with it, and I've got a couple of dies out that we're using tonight that I love. They're I think this is like a daisy flower. She got the center, the flower, and the leaves. We're going to use those on both projects. And then I'm also using the Stitched Rectangles dies, which are retiring. They're still in stock, the last I checked just before the stream, and they are discounted as well. So I've got 2 of the rectangle dies we're going to use on tonight's projects. All right, I'm just grabbing a scrap piece of basic white. Actually, I'm going to trim this down real quick, just so I can fit it into my Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. All right, so we're using Moody Mauve. And I think that's the last color I used on that stamp set. Let's see. Okay, I'm doing this one on the square, so I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm going to bring that stamp set back in a second. But first, I'm going to clean it so that I don't stick my Moody Mauve into my Boho Blue. This is the Stampin' Scrub I absolutely love. I've spritzed the side that has the raindrops. Those are so hard to see, but they're right there in the corner. I spritzed that with Stampin' Mist. And then the side that has the sunshine, right there, is the dry side, and that's what I dry it on. So, all right, so we're gonna take the smaller of the square dies. This will fit perfectly inside of our box. And just sort of straighten that up, and then I'm gonna use Post-it tape to hold that into place. I do like to put it at just a little bit of an angle. That way you don't kind of get those speed bumps as the rollers of the machine roll over the rectangle. It makes for a smoother trip through. And actually, while we're here, why don't we go ahead and die cut the remaining pieces. Let's see, I'm doing Moody Mauve. Got a couple of scraps here, so I'm gonna do the daisy in the Moody Mauve. We're gonna do the leaf in Old Olive, and then the center in Basic White, which could have done that. I'm not being very efficient tonight with my die cutting. I'm gonna actually cut this in half. Save some space here. Oh, trim it even more. All right, so the circle, and then, oops. I don't know if you guys do this when you're working on the fly. I just grab a big piece of scrap cardstock and I just trim out a little square so that I can maximize my trips through the machine. We'll be bringing it back through for the second project here. One, two, three. All right, we'll bring her back in a bit for the next project. Make sure I don't lose my parts here. All right. So the sentiment is what we're going to want to glue down before we put the box together. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, with your box in this orientation, we're on the inside. The polka dots for this one are the outside. So I'm going to glue this sentiment piece right in the center there, and it really is a perfect fit for the bottom. I love when that happens. That was a happy accident there. I'm realizing I'm probably going to need some new adhesive.
Do you have a kit for that?
I do have a kit for that. I actually do have adhesive kits back in stock if you were waiting for them. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 13 in stock right now. You can visit thepaperpixie.com/adhesive. Grab one of those kits. All right, so we've got that glued down in the bottom, just kind of a fun little thing for the inside of the box. So here's what we're gonna do first. We're gonna start with the tabs, and I'm just gonna pick one. I'm gonna put liquid glue on the tab. Then I'm gonna line up this score line with this cut edge to start to form the first box corner. like so. And just take your time. Now that liquid glue will help you kind of slide things into place there. Then we'll move on to the next tab and do the same thing. Now these are going to overlap slightly, and that's okay. This is designer series paper, so it's lightweight and doesn't add too much bulk with the overlap. If the overlap bothers you, just go ahead and trim it down just a little bit. You need to trim off about 1/4 of an inch of the tabs to prevent them from overlapping, but nobody's going to see it because we're going to cover it with this flap, okay? So then, liquid glue on the 3rd tab. And then finally, the last tab, well, not finally, finally of the tabs. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that in. All right, so I kind of like to fold these things out of the way. It gives me a little bit easier access. I'm going to put liquid glue on these 2 side flaps. Okay, and then these are just going to fold into our box. I hold them into place for a couple of seconds, and then I'll come in with the bone folder and just burnish them down. So kind of turn the box on its side like so, and then just come in and press to get a good glue down there. You don't need to burnish too much, but just a gentle touch. Like that. Okay, so we've got that sweet saying on the inside. I love that, a little surprise. And then we're going to tuck that in. Okay, now, if you're having some difficulties with the edges tucking in, you may just need to slightly trim off a little bit of a sliver, like a slight miter cut, but this one actually seems to be fitting just fine, like so. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add our adorable daisy. I'm actually going to grab my silicone mat. This is actually the free gift included with my adhesive kit. And we're going to go ahead and build our little daisy here. So I'm going to start by putting glue. Actually, it's easier to put glue on the daisy than on your little center. Ask me how I know. And then I'm just going to use the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool to pick up the white center. And you'll see on the daisy, it's an oval shape. So you just want to line up the basic white, or whatever color you decide to do the center, in the oval there. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and I put a little too much glue there, but I actually want to give my petals a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to kind of sandwich it between the bone folder and my thumb and just gently curl the petals. I did get way too much glue on the center of that. You just wipe it on your clothes. There we go. So you got a little bit of dimension there. Whoops. You can kind of see from the side. And then we're going to glue the leaves. I'm just kind of picturing where I'm going to. The daisy itself is a little bit, not cattywampus, but lopsided? It's not lopsided. That's not a good word. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there in between the 2 leaves and just press that into place. Now the silicone craft mat is just helping me keep my surface clean in case I had any glue. You can see a little bit of glue on there. That'll rub right off like so. Okay, and then all we need to do is glue this beauty to the top of our box. I liked it better with liquid glue. You could also use a dimensional. I just personally didn't love it popped up. I'm actually going to open this lid. It's going to give me a little bit more leverage to press from each side, like so. I'm just kind of pinching this into place until it adheres. But oh, so cute. And I thought it needed just a little bit more, so I looked at some of the embellishments that are carrying over, and one of them is the flat adhesive backed pearls, and these are ovals as well, and I thought it looked so cute in the center of this daisy. So I'm gonna grab one of these guys and just lay it in the same direction of the oval in the center of that. And again, I like to kind of get some leverage here and just press that into place. Clean up my mess.
People are unclear on ovalish.
An ovalish.
You know, like what you meant by that, like non-symmetrical.
Oh, so the daisy itself, like the petals all kind of have different, it's not a totally symmetrical daisy. So each petal's just slightly different shape. So I just kind of like to twist and turn the daisy until I get it to a way that looks pleasing to my eye. But what looks pleasing to my eye might not to you. So just play around with sort of the angle of it. These two actually look to be really close. But it just gives you a little bit of a different look depending on which way you turn because of the fact that it's not like a perfect circle, if that makes sense. Hopefully that clarified it a little bit more. But how cute. I love those polka dots, and this is just a fun little treat box. Again, you know, so many things you could probably fit in here. I'd love to hear it if you give this project a try, what you decided to put in it. I haven't been to the store in a while to pick out treats to share with you, but it's so cute. And it's, again, the sides are reinforced because it's that extra tab folded over. So the box really does have some structure, even though there are no tabs that fold into the box. You do have a little bit of a gap on the sides there, but it's just so stinking cute. So there's project number 1. Let's go ahead and move on to project number 2. And I'm going to show you some tips and tricks. So we're going to start with a full sheet of boho blue. And then I'm going to grab the Simply Scored. You can also use your paper trimmer for this as well. Personally, I feel like the Simply Scored gives me more accurate score lines, but both will work. And along the 8.5-inch side, so you're going to want to put this in portrait, we are going to go ahead and score at 2.5, 4.5, 7, and 7 1/8, which is the score line right next to 7. Okay, so this will make 4 of these boxes. Okay, so again, 2.5, 4.5, 7, 7 1/8. Okay, this is going to save you a little bit of time if you make multiples of this. Then I'm going to pull in the paper trimmer, and along the long side, we're going to cut these strips to 2 3/4. So 11 divided by 4 is 2 3/4. So then that way, you've got 4 pieces scored and ready for the Designer Series paper sides, okay? I'm doing boho blue, right? Yes. All right, so I'm gonna grab a sheet of 6x6 in boho blue with the heart pattern, which I think is so cute. And on this piece, you actually technically, for 4 of these, you're gonna wanna repeat the same thing on 2 pieces of 6x6. For tonight, I'm just gonna we're just gonna make the 1 box, but you're gonna get 2 boxes out of 1 sheet of 6x6. So we are going to go ahead and actually, I need to cut that first. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, we could have done it that way as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut this to 3x6, okay? So I only need 1 of these for tonight's project, 1 3x6-inch piece, but you got another one to make a second box. And then what we're gonna do is score at, on the short side, we're gonna score at 2.5 from each side, like so. Then on the long side, we're gonna do the same measurement, 2.5, rotate, 2.5. So we're doing 2.5 on all 4 sides of a 3x6, okay? But we do need to perform a little bit of surgery. And we're gonna separate this piece. So along the long side, we're just gonna cut it to 3. Saves you a little bit of time with scoring. I do not have a template for this. It's actually fairly easy, but I will have one on the project sheet. So you can see these pieces both measure 3 by 3, but they're only scored on 3 sides because of the way that we did that. Okay, so we had our 3 by 6 inch piece. We scored it 2.5, 2.5, then 2.5, and 2.5. So that gave us kind of that grid. Then we cut those in half, which then gave us these 2 pieces scored on 3 sides. So a 1/2 inch on 3 of the 4 sides. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Couple of tips to help you do multiples. Then I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish on all the score lines. All right, so we've got this grid here, and all I'm gonna do is remove these 2 corner square pieces. They're just a 1/2 inch square, but I'm gonna miter cut at the same time. So it's easier for me to see it on this side. I'm gonna come in and miter cut and miter cut. So basically what you end up cutting away is a piece that is the square and the 2 miter cuts, like so, okay? And while we're here on this side, I'm also going to come in and miter cut right here at the top. So you kind of have this side tab here, miter cut on both the top and the bottom. So same thing at the bottom here. Remove that corner, but I'm also miter cutting at the same time, like so. And then a miter cut here at the top. So we're going to repeat that same thing on the other piece as well. This is a great way to use up your scraps. And a great way to make multiples because it uses a small amount of designer series paper. Okay, so we remove the 2 corners. They're both miter cut and then miter cut the top there. Getting my pieces out of the way. I'm just going to grab one of these. We need 1 of the boho blue and 2 of the sides here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish on the score lines. Now just be real careful when you do these score lines that are close to each other. Just take your time. That last one's a little tricky to get to fold, but it'll go for you. And that's just so that you can have this type of a top so you're not fighting with the cardstock that folds up underneath it. We're going to create kind of a tent box or a triangular box. All right. So then, trying to figure out, I built the other box on the go, so I glued the sentiment. We can do it at the end. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do corner rounding really quickly. This is our top flap, so it's the flap that's going to end up folding down. Just going to go ahead and corner round that before I forget. Easier to do it now than after you've put the sides on. All right, so now what we're going to do next, I'm going to kind of turn this sideways where I've got the bottom tab here facing the right. And I'm just going to put liquid glue on that now. Just in case you are heavy-handed with the adhesive, I'd use a silicone mat. And what I'm doing here, it really doesn't matter which way you go, but I tend to always try to keep the tab on the top. This second section from the bottom, these 2 score lines, we're going to line up with these score lines. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this. I am going right up to that bottom score line in this middle section here. And the liquid glue really helps you here. But again, we're going right up. I'm having a hard time seeing it with the lights, but right up to that score line and lining up these score lines together like so. See the score line right there? I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with the other tab. Liquid glue. And then same thing, that same section, bring it right up to the score line. Like so. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and zoom back out. All right, so now this is kind of like a box as if this was all out of cardstock. We've just added the sides here. So now we can go ahead and put this together like any other box. I'm going to start with one tab at a time. So liquid glue going up to the score line. And I'm going to line up this score line with this cut edge. Like so. Just trying to get my fingers in there. There we go. And again, the liquid glue, you can kind of just slide things into place. And then just work your way around to the remaining tabs. Oh yeah, I'm totally at the end of this glue bottle. Centrifugal force. There we go. There we go. So one side is done. Then I'm going to repeat one tab at a time. I've got ooey gooey glue tonight. I'm at the end of the bottle here. All right, and then the last tab. Get that tucked in. There we go. Ooh, just put my finger right in that glue. There we go. All right, so I don't even know where I put my glue lid. Somewhere. Oh, here it is. So it's going to look rather boxy. Then all we're going to need to do, I'm just going to make sure that those are adhered down. I'm actually going to come in and burnish those really quickly. Just pressing into those tabs. Or pressing down on those tabs, rather. Like so. Now I'm just going to take my index fingers and just kind of push in the sides. And I'm pinching at the same time, like so. And then this box, when it closes, going to be a little bit of a, because of that 1/8 of an inch score line, just gives you this really nice, I love the way that looks on the inside without score lines, a nice smooth, I don't know what you would call that, taper maybe? Love the way that looks with those hearts on the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and do a Velcro dot here. You could also use magnets as well. My trusty old Velcro dots I use so much. These are 5/8 of an inch thin clear fasteners by Velcro. I've got them listed on my favorites page if you don't already have them in your stash. And I sandwich the hooks and loops together when I get a new box, so I can just cut one as I need it. And I'm going to go ahead and take the hook side, which is the clearer side. I'm pulling the adhesive off the back of that one. Kind of put my box upside down here, and I'm just going to stick that right to the lid, like so, in the center, sort of towards the top, if I turn it this way, and then pull off the backing of the loop side. And this is where you just want to take your time and get it lined up before you press everything down into place. I'm just kind of making sure everything's there, and then I'm going to press down. So, okay. I do like to reinforce it just a little bit. Actually, I haven't pressed it down hard enough here. There we go. Just gently pull it apart, and then I like to just press on both Velcro dots so they are good and adhered, like so. Okay. So cute. I love that with the designer series paper on the side. All right, let's go ahead and do our decorations of the box. So a little bit of stamping. If I can find all my pieces and parts here. I'm gonna just cut this in half. I know I just had a piece. A smaller piece here. All right, so the beautiful boho blue, we're gonna go ahead and use the same sentiment. Just wanted to say thanks. All right, now this one we're going to use the little bit bigger stitched rectangle. This was the one we used on the smaller box. And I'm going to make sure that the sentiment is off to the right side. Because I want to leave some room for our little daisy. So I'm going to go ahead and tape that down so that's ready. I'm going to just cut another piece of old olive for the leaves. And a piece for the daisy here. This will go in my scrap pile. These cut into pieces. All right, so daisy, leaves, and then I gotta make sure to cut out the center as well. Bringing that back into the screen. So sentiment, daisy. There we go.
Still good.
I think so, yeah. You guys can still hear me okay? Looks like Sandy's having trouble with sound. All right, so daisy number 1. Well, I guess we only did one. Thank you, Terry. Now in this one, the basic white is really wedged in there, so go ahead and take your pick tool or your die brush if you have that, and just, there's a little ejection hole in there to get that out, okay? All right, there we go. Bringing in, thank you all. Okay, so flower center, let's do that first. A little bit of liquid glue on the daisy, and then I'm gonna pick up the center here. There we go. Then my bone folder, let's just give it a little bit of dimension. You could also use your fingernails for this as well. Like I would just kind of go like that. If you didn't want to use a bone folder, it's a little, since it's such a tiny daisy, it's a little hard to get the bone folder in there. And then we're gonna do this one with it kind of up and to the left. So like so. Just make sure that that's gonna line up okay here. Yeah. Let's do that. Okay, so we got the daisy there. liquid glue, and then we're just going to place that just to the left of our sentiment. Like so. And now what's actually easier to do is to open this. So I've got a little bit of some leverage. So liquid glue on the back of our stitched rectangle piece. Centrifugal force again. There we go. Oh, way too much glue. Just gonna spread that out with my finger real quick. There we go. And then we'll layer that right here on the flap. Again, liquid glue is helping me kind of slide that right where I want it. And then grabbing one more of our flat-backed pearls. And we'll pop that right in the center. Like so. All right, then we'll go ahead and you'd fill it with your treats. You got a pretty good size in here. I'll tell you the measurements in just a second. Like so. So this is 2.5 inches wide, 2 inches deep, and I think, did I bring my ruler back over here? Might help with the ruler. So 2.5 by 2 at the bottom. It's tapered, and then it's technically 2.5 tall, but with the taper, it kind of brings it down to a little over, more like 2 3/8 tall, but again, tapered. So you want to be careful about the size treats that you put in there. But again, this would be another cute way to give a tip, or put maybe a couple of Lindor truffles or Ferrero Rochers. I know you guys will come up with some really cute treats. So those are tonight's 2 projects. Let me show you the different colorways here. We've got Moody Mauve and Boho Blue with those adorable hearts on the sides. And then Moody Mauve and Boho Blue with this cute little treat box that's got a secret sentiment on the inside. Not really secret, but a little hidden sentiment. So there we go. Project sheets will post before the end of the day tomorrow in the video description below. And I'll also include the links for product shares and In Color Club and my Stampin' Blends and my adhesive kit as well. The 4 things I talked about tonight. So let me go ahead and tee up the Q&A here. All right, let's see what questions you got for me. I agree with your pronunciation of mauve. How else is it pronounced and where? Thank you. Love your videos. Thank you so much, Patricia, for being here. I was seeing it spelled phonetically on one of the Stampin' Up! Pages I was on. I think that other countries, perhaps Canada or the UK, say move. Is that right? Move? Okay. I've never heard it said, so I would love to hear somebody say it, especially with an accent as well. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, mauve or mauve. It's pronounced different ways. Can we have the catalog spiral bound before it goes live to the public? Yes, you can, Lonnie, because a physical catalog is okay to show people, just not on video. But in person, yes. So great question for that. Does Stampin' Up! Let you add a catalog to your order? I believe they do, Lisa, but likely not the new catalog, because I don't think that will get added to the online store until May 2nd. But pricing wise, I'm trying to think if it's cheaper. It's really cheaper to get one through your demonstrator, especially like, for example, my customers who spend $25 with me in the last 6 months, they get catalogs for free. Now, if you're already placing an order, that's totally fine, but you will pay for the catalog as well, and it'll get added to your shipping cost as well if you order it from Stampin' Up! So it's usually more economical to get it from your demonstrator. So we can join the In Color Club and have all the new color ink pads, Stampin' Blends, and Stampin' Write markers in 5 months. Yes, Yvette, for the 5 in colors, not the new and returning core colors. It would just be the 5 in colors. So Moody Mauve, Wild Wheat, Boho Blue, Pebbled Path, and I'm forgetting one. still trying to get stuck in my brain here. Copper Clay, Wild Wheat, Boho Blue, Moody Mauve, Pebbled Path. So the things that come in the In Color Club: cardstock, ink pad, ink refill, Stampin' Blends, Stampin' Write marker, ribbon, treat bags, Luster specialty paper, 6x6 designer series paper, a hand-stamped card from me, and I do actually make those cards, and then a surprise free gift each month of the 5 months, okay? So 5 surprise free gifts, 2 of which are In Color surprises, okay? Good question. What is your new favorite color combo together? Mine is Pebble Path and Bubble Bath. Oh, that's hard to say 10 times fast, Ramona. You know what? To be honest, I have not played with the new colors other than what I've demonstrated tonight. So I'll have to table that. I don't have an answer for you yet, but I have seen some beautiful color combos. Stampin' Up! Also has given us a color coach that's got some cool color combos as well. So I'm excited to see what combinations folks come up with over the next few months. Our Stampin' Write pens, a permanent ink, saw on another demo video and now I'm intrigued. So they are water-based, Linda, which I think technically means they are acid-free but not permanent. I wouldn't say they were permanent. I think they'd probably wash out like our ink pads wash out. But they're water-based and are great for watercoloring, great for coloring direct to stamps if you want to do a multicolored stamped image. They have brand new tips, which actually, let me show you one of them. I'm going to do a quick comparison for you here to show you that. So the Stampin' Write markers have been reconfigured. I'm going to pull out, let's see, Melon Mambo. That was a stupid color to pick, Rich Razzleberry, because it's being retired. But let me show you the difference here. I'm going to flip the camera really quickly. Hold on. Let's go back to demo. There we go. All right, so Rich Razzleberry is the old version, and Melon Mambo is the new one. Okay, you can see the length of them is about the same. This one's just a hint taller, but you'll see that the ink or the caps are smaller, and the black part of the barrel is longer. Okay, so brush tips on each of them is virtually the same. The brush tip itself. Oh, Alexa heard me. Alexa, off. Sorry, everybody who has her. I probably just told her to turn off in all of your homes. So the brush tips are virtually the same, but you'll notice that the ends are just slightly different. So that one, the old ones had the color. These ones do not. But the biggest difference is the pen tip. So Rich Razzleberry. And I seem to always have problems with this one. I think it's part of why they got reconfigured. I just couldn't get a good ink flow for those. This one is a bullet tip. So you get a difference there. So they've been totally reconfigured. You'll be able to purchase them in either the new color, the 11 new colors. You can get a pack of the 11 new colors, or you can purchase them in the color families. Okay. All right, let's come back to Q&A. Good. Let's see. Are your snips the older style? I have a couple of pairs and the blade on yours seems slimmer. That is a great question, Marcy. I mean, I've had these forever. I don't know if they have changed yet. I don't think they've changed. Interesting. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows the difference. These are one of my like original pairs of paper snips. Had them probably for at least 10 years, but I don't think they've changed them, or at least I hadn't heard that. So Ramona, the adhesive kits, it is, I don't think I have one to show. Hold on, let me grab one really quickly. I just have to walk underneath cords and things. They're actually packed and ready to ship. So they're in like a Ziploc bag, but Ramona, this is what they look like. It's a custom canvas bag. I've added my signature ribbon pull to it. And I just added a ribbon pull, and the ends are heat sealed so they won't fray. And inside of it, a free gift is I'm just going to show you really quickly, but then I'll tell you. It is the silicone craft mat is the free gift. You get tear and tape, Stampin' Dimensionals, Stampin' Seal Plus, mini glue dots, and the multi-purpose adhesive glue. Sort of my favorite adhesives. So that is the adhesive kit. We've got 13 of those ready to go. They're $40 plus shipping and ready to ship. Okay. Let's see. You absolutely can, the Orange Dragonfly. She's asking if you can color the oval embellishment with the Stampin' Blends. You sure can. You sure can. The adhesive flat-backed pearls are more organically shaped, so they're more oval in nature. Both the small and the large. So see how they're really pretty. They're also not all identically shaped, and they all have a little bit of a different iridescent look to it. Really, really pretty. More oval in shape though. Okay. The dies for the daisy were the around the bend dies. So we used the around the bend bundle. This is the stamp set, and we used, oops, just wanted to say thanks. And the around the bend dies is where the daisy and the daisy center came from. We also used the stitched rectangles. Linda, it is not possible to buy a replacement scoring tool for the Simply Scored. However, talk to your demonstrator if I'm not your demonstrator, and we can reach out to Stampin' Up! And do a parts and pieces replacement order if you've lost it or broken it. They usually have some extras in the warehouse. They can make sure you get a replacement. Let's see. Why is it that you can't buy the number 2 die cutting plate by itself? Which one is the number 2? I think typically, I had to look and figure out which one was the number 2. That's the thin die adapter one. My guess is that usually that doesn't need to be replaced, but if it does, it usually would need to be replaced with the other platform that it comes with as well. So, and also part of it is supply and demand as well. There's probably not a lot of people that only need to replenish the number 2 plate. So they're just not packaged that way. They're packaged as a combo replacement plate pack. Good question, Vicki. I don't typically second guess it usually because I will sort of take the front and back into consideration when I design a project. Usually a lot of projects, other than if you're doing a card, you can typically see both the front and the back. I usually tend to choose the pattern that I love the most to put on the outside, but you still kind of get the peak, especially if it's a box on the inside. But yeah, that's a good question. It is hard to put adhesive on the back side of designer series paper. I know that. I feel that sometimes. The DSP Sherry is from the new 2023 to 2025 in color 6x6 paper pack that will be available starting May 2nd in the new annual catalog. You can get that paper pack now by adding those products to a starter kit because we're in the midst of pre-order. Let's see. Yes, this is a great tip, Deb, to open the big end to help the glue come out the pointy end. That gets some airflow going in there. Great tip. I always forget to do that. I'm so used to using the centrifugal force. Oh, do you find that the last 16th or so of the glue bottle lasts as long as the other 15/16ths? I do feel that way. I feel like I can always get more adhesive out of a bottle. When my arm starts to feel sore spinning the glue bottle around, then it's usually time to replace it. But yeah, I find that I just always get more adhesive out of those bottles. I love it for their price and how long they last. Does my brain ever rest? Your projects are awesome. It does sometimes. Today I took a little nap, hoping I would get I was not quite 100% there yet with my projects, and usually taking a nap for me kind of helps me when I wake up refreshed. I'm like, oh, I just got an idea. I did get the monkey stamp, Ramon. I haven't played with it yet, but would be great for a baby card. It's so cute. The last box, Darlene, it is 2.5, let's see, 2 3/8 tall, so 2 3/8 inch height, 2.5 inch width, 2-inch depth, but it tapers at the top. When will you be doing your destashing, and where would we find those items? I'm dying to get my hands on the In Bloom stamp set. Kate, the plan is, I was going to do it earlier, but with what happened with my dad and all of that, it's now going to just get pushed to probably June of this year. The next, how many weeks? I'm thinking the next 6 weeks are going to be nuts for my schedule between product shares and everything. So I think in the month of June. But we've got my dad's memorial service coming up here in a couple of weeks. My brother's graduating, which I'm so excited and so proud of him. So we've got Greg's graduation. We've got the incentive trip. We're going to Norway. And then Brian's brother is getting married. So we've got lots of things on the calendar. But yeah, the plan is probably in June. But stay tuned. I love this question. Why don't you put the label stickers on your cling stamps? So it's a little bit twofold. Well, one is I'm a little bit lazy. I just don't spend the time to do it because I'd rather just get right to inking up stamps and using them. I personally don't find that the cling labels really provide any extra benefit because I can never get the label to perfectly line up with where the rubber is going to stamp underneath it. So I just don't mess with adding the stickers. When I resell my retired stamp sets, the sticker sheet is included with them. So the new owner can add the stickers if they would like to. But I also, historically, the stickers before they were reformulated didn't stick or didn't cling so well here in the Atlanta area just from the humidity. So I just didn't even mess with them, and I was just kind of in the habit of not doing that. So the In Color Designer Series paper is not in my in my paper share. That would just make the price really high if I included the In Color and the Color families. So I typically choose not to include those just to try to keep the price as low as I can with shares. You can get the In Color Designer Series paper though in the In Color Club. I do include it in there. So the die set, Deb, that was the Around the Bend dies. And Linda, I think I answered that question if you were here for the first part of the Q&A. I'll do it really quickly. Adhesive kits, the silicone craft mat, see if I can remember all of it. Tear and tape, Stampin' Dimensionals, multi-purpose adhesive glue, mini glue dots, Stampin' Seal Plus. I think that's all of it. 6 different adhesives, or 5 adhesives, and then the silicone craft mat. Oh, so cute. The fold-over top reminds me of a purse. You could add a strap to the top. Would be perfect for party favor for Belly's friends. So cute. This is my brother, y'all. Greg, you got to add your profile photo so they can see ya. Where do you buy the clear 3x3 envelopes? Rosina, I purchased those from clearbags.com. They've got 3x3 with the adhesive flap. That's where I get those bags. And the same place I get the bags for my paper shares as well. And my ribbon shares. When do I get to name my own color? Well, I wouldn't be able to take ownership of the color, but I can always provide name suggestions, and maybe in the future it will be chosen. They do get all kinds of color name suggestions in the suggestion box, so maybe I will come up with a future color. Oh, mauve, not move. Mauve as in mow the lawn. Thank you, Nicole. I've seen it spelled move, but I think mauve sounds more like it. Where did I get my stamp pad holders? The ink pad holder behind me? Is that what you're talking about, Ramona? All from Stampin' Storage, like my favorite organization company ever, Stampin' Storage. I do have an affiliate link with them because I love them so much. So, can the old markers be refilled? I heard in another thread, and that the new ones could not. Okay, great question. Neither of them were manufactured or intended to be refilled. That's not to say that folks haven't tried to refill them, but they are not meant to be refilled. So hopefully that answers your question. Neither of them were intended for that, the old or the new. Oh, great. Yeah, I know with the pearlescence to them or the iridescence, it is hard to tell what the shape is unless you see them in person and feel them in person. Jeanette, the ink pad holder is from Stampin' Storage. The Rhino dies are not being restocked. They are sold out and gone for good, unfortunately. The stamp set, I believe, is still available, but when the stamp set sells out, that will not be restocked either. Let's see. Are the new Core Color Classic Stampin' Pads bundle not the 5 colors in your club, right? That's correct. The new Core Colors Classic Stampin' Pads bundle, I think it's $89 in the new catalog. That is the 11 of the new and returning colors, core colors. So we have the 4 core color families, the brights, regals, subtles, and neutrals. And then we have the 2 in color families. The Core Classic, or the Core Colors Classic, are the 11 of the core colors that are either new or returning. I know it's a lot to take in, but that's how color refreshes go. So, Greg is graduating from Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, with his bachelor's in business administration. I could not be more proud. And if I keep talking about it, I will get emotional. So, so proud of him. So, can't wait to celebrate him in a few weeks. All right, I am at the end of the questions. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. If you got some tips or tricks that you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. That helps us here on YouTube. Next Wednesday's live stream is TBD at the moment because I am supposed to serve jury duty. So I have no idea. I won't know until Tuesday night if I have to show up at the courthouse on Wednesday. So I will keep you posted. It may be a last minute schedule. I'm hoping I don't have to serve, but I will absolutely do my duty if I need to. But so that my next week's schedule is up in the air. So stay tuned for that. Again, just a reminder, In Color Club product shares, those are now open for sign up. You can find that information on my blog, thepaperpixie.com/shares or thepaperpixie.com/incolorclub. I have completely revamped my Stampin' Blends labels. So if you've already purchased them, you should have gotten an update email that download has been updated. Otherwise, it's just an $8 digital download purchase. And you'll get updates for as long as Stampin' Blends remain a product. You get free updates for that. So that's the scoop. Thanks for joining me. Tonight's project sheets will be in the description before the end of the day tomorrow. And then I'll include links to all of the things we talked about tonight. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week. Stay tuned for next week. I hope I will see you next week. And I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week. Take good care. Bye.